Ellen has reportedly been diagnosed with kuru, K-U-R-U, a rare fatal disease linked directly to, say it, cannibalism, and now she's going blind.
I hear she's got kuru, starting to go blind and shit. Could be the syphilis too, though.
How do we know if someone is a cannibal? Well, they could have the kuru disease, which is a fatal neurodegenerative disease that spreads through eating brain tissue. It has a long incubation period, 10 to 30 years.
That crazy ass woman was out there feeding people SHIT and not telling nobody where it came from.
Imagine building a multi-billion-dollar empire on two simple words: be kind. For over 20 years, Ellen DeGeneres was the face of daytime sunshine, the dancing, relatable neighbor who made everyone feel like they were part of the inner circle. But while the cameras were rolling and the music was pumping, a much darker reality was allegedly simmering just beneath the surface. It wasn't just a few disgruntled employees or a bad day at the office. We're talking about a systematic erasure of friendships, whispers of elite connections that lead to private islands, and a series of accidents involving her inner circle that have left the internet paralyzed with suspicion. When Rosie O'Donnell finally decided to speak out, she didn't just open a door, she blew the hinges off a vault that Hollywood has been trying to keep locked for decades. What she revealed wasn't just a feud, it was a warning that the woman we thought we knew was actually someone entirely different.
Ellen said, "I don't know Rosie. We're not friends." And that was like one of the most painful things that ever happened to me.
For years, Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres were the twin pillars of daytime television. They were the trailblazers, the friends who navigated the shark-infested waters of Hollywood together. They shared meals, shared secrets, and Rosie even has photos of Ellen holding her newborn babies. But all of that history, 30 years of a bond that seemed unbreakable, was wiped out in a single sentence on live television. When Larry King asked Ellen what had happened to Rosie, Ellen didn't offer a polite, "We've drifted apart." Instead, she looked into the camera and coldly stated, "I don't know Rosie. We're not friends." Rosie was watching from her bed, and she describes it as one of the most painful, gut-wrenching betrayals she had ever experienced. It was as if Ellen had hit a delete key on 3 decades of a human being's life. This wasn't just a social snub. It was the first public glimpse into a personality trait that many former associates now claim is Ellen's signature move: the ability to completely unperson someone the moment they are no longer useful to her brand. Rosie didn't take it lying down. She famously had t-shirts made for her entire staff that read, "I don't know Rosie, we're not friends," turning the pain into a dark joke. But the joke masked a terrifying reality about how the Queen of Nice handled people who knew the truth about her.
I thought of you when Ellen DeGeneres went through her thing, and she goes, "My advice to everybody is, if you're going to be known as something, being known as the be kind lady is probably going to bite you in the ass." And I wondered what that whole Queen of Nice.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
did
thinking,
bite me in the ass. Yeah.
Did you think it bit you in the ass? I wasn't aware of that. But
not in the way that Ellen's talking about, I think. But, I said the day it came out, look at this, the Queen of Nice. In a couple of years, it's going to be the Queen of Lice, the Queen of Fried Rice. The queen of, we don't like her anymore. I have an understanding of the cycle of show business and kind of what happens in people's careers and when enough is enough. And oftentimes people don't know that.
The Be Kind brand wasn't just a motto, it was a shield. Former producers and staff members have since come forward to describe a workplace that felt more like a psychological experiment than a talk show. The rules were simple but chilling. Don't look Ellen in the eye, don't speak to her in the hallways, and don't enter her office without express permission. While she was dancing with guests on stage, her staff was reportedly walking on eggshells, terrified of a single misstep that could end their careers. One producer, Hedda Muscat, revealed that Ellen used her executive producer, Ed Glavin, as a literal attack dog. In production meetings, Ellen would reportedly watch while Glavin screamed at and humiliated the crew, sometimes even laughing as he went off. When asked why she allowed it, Ellen reportedly said that every production needs a dog to do the dirty work so she wouldn't have to get her own hands messy. This allowed her to maintain the public image of the dancing, generous host, while the actual gears of her empire were turned by fear and intimidation. It was a perfect system of plausible deniability until the complaints became too loud for even her powerful PR team to silence.
This TV producer is speaking out on camera for the first time about what it was like working for Ellen DeGeneres.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is.
Hedda Muscat was with Ellen from the beginning in 2003 when the talk show was launched.
We were told from the very beginning, don't talk to Ellen, don't do this, you can't go into her office. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
Muscat says, despite Ellen's Queen of Nice reputation, it became clear early on that it would not be a pleasant place to work. One incident with executive producer Ed Glavin left her shaken.
We were in our production meetings, and she would watch Ed go off on people. Ellen would look at Ed, and she would laugh, because I was hoping she was going to say, Ed, you can't be yelling at crew this way. You can't be yelling at people this way. She laughed, and she said, every production needs their dog.
Meaning
Ed is her dog.
Like her attack dog.
Her attack dog. So therefore, she doesn't need to do that. He took the role of being the attack dog that she didn't have to now be the attack dog. So she didn't have to yell.
So when Ellen says she's not aware of this environment, you don't think that rings true?
It's a lie.
Muscat won 2 daytime Emmys with the show. She was let go in 2004.
As a host, she's amazing. As a host. But as a boss, and someone who's behind the scenes running the show, she's a different person. She's not the person people see in front of the camera.
Do you think anything will change?
No, because she should have apologized 16 years ago. This environment, this toxic culture that she created in the office has been going on for 16 years.
As Ellen's fame reached stratospheric levels, she moved away from the regular people who knew her before the money and the power. She began surrounding herself with billionaires, heads of tech giants, and individuals whose names are now synonymous with the darkest corners of high society scandals. Speculation began to swirl online when eagle-eyed viewers started noticing bizarre similarities between the design of Ellen's talk show set and the architecture found on Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Specifically, the temple building, with its distinct blue and white stripes and tropical aesthetic, seemed to be mirrored in the backdrops of her stage. Was it a coincidence, or was it a hidden in plain sight signal to those in the know? Rumors intensified when her name reportedly appeared in investigative materials and flight logs associated with the Epstein world. While nothing has been legally proven in a court of law, the court of public opinion has been much less forgiving. People began to wonder if her "be kind" mantra was actually a code, or perhaps a way to distract the public from the reality of the circles she was truly running in.
Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
Just look at the temple and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background. What? Oh, similar. That looks like a building, though. Like
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Is that a building in LA? That might be a building in LA.
In the darker corners of social media, a much more sinister theory began to take hold. Rumors surfaced that Ellen was dealing with a rare, fatal condition known as kuru. For those unfamiliar, kuru is a neurodegenerative disorder that historically has been linked to very specific and very disturbing dietary practices within certain isolated groups. While these claims sound like something out of a horror movie, they gained traction when a former producer allegedly broke his silence about Ellen's odd behavior backstage. There's a viral story of a child prodigy who was a guest on the show and claimed to have peeked through the crack of Ellen's dressing room door. He described a scene that was truly demonic. Ellen standing over a table, holding a whole rotisserie chicken and then manually unhinging her jaw to swallow the bird whole in one single motion. He claimed she then turned to him and let out a low, predatory hiss. While his mother didn't believe him at the time, the story has become a cornerstone of the hidden nature theories surrounding her. Add to this the recent rumors that she is secretly going blind, and you have a picture of a woman whose physical body is allegedly paying the price for the bad karma her critics say she has accumulated over the decades.
Ellen has reportedly been diagnosed with kuru, K-U-R-U, a rare fatal disease linked directly to, say it, cannibalism, and now she's going blind. A former producer from The Ellen Show has broken his silence.
Right.
This is how it begins.
Now I hear she's got kuru, starting to go blind and shit. Could be the syphilis too, though.
I will read to you what this person has said, a former producer. Karma's a bitch. That crazy ass woman was out there feeding people SHIT and not telling nobody where it came from. He said, you'll like this, I'm a picky eater, bruh. Whole foods, organic and all that. I don't do sprays, no chemicals, none of that. I need to know exactly what I'm putting in my body and where it came from. So when I finally found out what was in them dumplings, I was shocked with my goddamn life. But by the end of that night, I found out everybody knows. I'm telling you, it's an open secret. but people are scared of her.
So I heard this story the other day, and honestly, it sounds so insane, and I can't stop thinking about it, nor do I know if I really believe it, but apparently there is this guy who claims that when he was a kid, he was on the Ellen Show, and because he was some, like, child chess prodigy or whatever, like one of those genius kids who could beat adults without even trying, and anyway, after the taping finished, he said that he was walking backstage towards his dressing room to go look for his mom, and it was normal in a quiet hallway. Production people were packing up, and it was really nothing weird. But as he was walking past one of the doors, he notices something really strange, and it was the door to Ellen's dressing room, and it was cracked open just a little bit. And he said that he swears that when he looked through the crack, you know, she's a star, he wanted to peek in and see what, you know, what her dressing room was like. He said that he saw Ellen standing there in front of a table, and she was holding a whole rotisserie chicken, and not a plate, not the cup, but this the whole rotisserie chicken. And according to him, she suddenly manually dislocated her jaw and like completely unhinged it, and in one single motion just lowered the entire chicken straight down her throat. No chewing, no bites, just gone in one swallow. And right after that, she slowly turned her head and makes eye contact with him through the crack of the door, and he says that she just stared at him for a second and then let out this hiss. And he freaked out, obviously, ran all the way back to his dressing room. He immediately told his mom, but of course, she didn't believe a word that he was saying. I mean, it is a little out there, but hey, the weirdest part is that he claims that that this is not the only story that people have told about something similar that had happened with her, that had happened backstage. And being in her presence, weird things have happened.
The digital age has not been kind to the Queen of Nice. In 2020, a massive conspiracy theory erupted involving the furniture site Wayfair. Users noticed industrial cabinets being sold for tens of thousands of dollars, far above their actual value. What made it truly disturbing was that each cabinet was named after a missing child. When internet sleuths started digging, they found strange links that pointed back to the Hollywood elite. Ellen's name was frequently brought up in these discussions, especially regarding her own line of home goods and her obsession with pizza. In emails leaked or released through various investigations, references to pizza parties and the pizza monster appeared in contexts that made absolutely no sense for someone just ordering dinner. For example, one email sent to a high-profile individual mentioned that a certain person looks pregnant, followed by the response, "Yeah, that's the pizza." To the casual observer, it's nonsense. To those who believe in the existence of an underground code, it was a smoking gun. These theories suggest that pizza is a term for something far more illicit, and that Ellen was a key player in a network that used these terms to hide in plain sight.
John?
Yeah, who's this?
It's Ellen.
Oh, hi, Ellen.
What's going on?
Not much. Here's Chrissy, too. Hey!
Hey, Chrissy, what's going on?
Nothing. Just with the kids. Oh, hi, Miles. Say hi. Hi.
Hi, Miles.
Say hi, Ellen.
Hey, say hi. So you have kids. I wish I had kids right now. I'm so bored.
Yeah, we're bored too. We're super bored.
Yeah.
There was a conspiracy theory that surfaced in 2020 that some furniture on Wayfair had human names and prices well over what the furniture piece would be worth. Think $9,000 for a wooden table. The furniture had similar photos with just different girls' names and different pricing. Would a global tracking ring really use Wayfair.com as their front, given it's literally hidden in plain sight?
No, I remember that. I fully believe that.
Me too.
I'm sorry, okay.
It was an Ashley table for 20 grand.
And the names, if there was like something where the code of the product, you look it up, and then it was literally the code of a missing person with the same name. So like, for example, if it was the Ashley table and then the SKU number on the Wayfair website, you look it up, it's like Ashley Fernandez, missing since whatever.
Literally in plain sight.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
And why is it so expensive?
And the people that are like, okay, would Wayfair really use that as like a front for human? You guys are stupid. Why is the Ashley table $13,000 when the same table is on there for $90?
Riddle me that, Wayfair.
Or the people that are doubting it. It's like, 100%. Explain that then.
No, 100%.
Literally explain it, because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. There weren't one. There was like 40 products.
Yeah, and it was like pillows for like $20,000.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that was crazy.
That was wild.
And I fully believe that. I can't believe that nothing ever happened from that.
Me either.
And I remember Wayfair came out with like a super snarky remark of like, this is stupid, basically. Just like gaslighting everyone. And I'm just like, I don't believe you for a second.
And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Yes? Yes? All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza. That's what I'll do.
Pizza, pizza, pizza. Send pizza to Bobby. What does a gynecologist and a pizza boy have in common? They can smell it, but they can't eat it. May I bring in your slice of pizza to you? Pizza party was great. We had a lot of fun, stayed late. We all slept in yesterday morning. Your night was good? Also up there, spoof on Chandelier, the video I sent you with the amazing little girl dance. If you take a look at the recent emails released by the DOJ/FBI dealing with Jeffrey Epstein, a lot of people have been pointing out that there are hundreds of messages that reference pizza. And some of these messages just don't really make sense. For example, right here you can see in 2016 an email was sent to Epstein, subject the pizza monster. Jeffrey wrote, "She looks pregnant," and the person responded, "We don't know who that was. You mean radiating a soft glow with a look of bliss and excitement? Yeah, that's the pizza." So what that means, we still don't know. There are also a few references in these emails to pizza and grape soda. As you can see here, Harry Fish writes to Jeffrey Epstein in 2018, "What time do you want to get pizza and grape soda tomorrow?" In a different thread of messages, this same guy sends Epstein a photograph of a slice of pizza with a bottle of grape soda. And he references this again. First we get a slice of pizza with grape soda, then the Pop-Tart. In a different message chain, he messages Epstein again and says, "Pizza and grape soda, nuff said." And then on a different date, I don't know if this is the same Harry guy sending this to Epstein, but an email is sent to Epstein that states, "This is better than a Chinese cookie, see attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand. Go no." You can see there are so many messages referencing pizza. A lot of people think that this is obviously code speak. I wanted to let you know the crew really appreciated the pizza today. Thank you for letting us do that. And then there's a disturbing headline on these emails between Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, and Jeffrey Epstein, where the subject is slicing a pizza. Obviously, that's kind of morbid sounding. There are also a chain of messages that seem to show Epstein sending someone to get an actual mold made of their butt cheeks so that he can make ass pizza. I mean, just pause these messages and read them for yourself.
Perhaps the most tragic elements of the Ellen saga involved the people who were closest to her. Steven, Twitch boss, was the heart and soul of the show for years, the man Ellen relied on to prove that the workplace wasn't toxic. He was her shield, her proof that nice people could thrive in her world. But in 2022, Twitch's life came to a sudden, mysterious end that left his fans devastated. Almost immediately, theories surfaced linking his passing to the 7M talent management company, which many have described as a cult-like organization. Some believe Twitch knew too much about the inner workings of Ellen's empire and was under immense pressure to keep those secrets.
What if I told you there was a correlation between 7M, Twitch's passing, and the end of Ellen DeGeneres? Well, strap up because I'm about to blow your minds. So everyone's talking about the new documentary on Netflix, Dancing for the Devil. Well, this documentary is way deeper than you think. Now, it all starts with this man, Robert Shin. Robert Shin is the owner of the talent management company, also known as 7M Films. He is also the owner of the Shekinah Church. Now, the Shekinah Church does not have a good reputation. They've had tons of lawsuits ranging from human trafficking to breaking labor laws and so on. But Mr. Shin here thought he could make some big money in the media industry, so he created 7M. And boy, has he made some money. Not only have they appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show multiple times, they also did a halftime show, worked with Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, you name it, they probably worked with them. Enters this couple. Now, this is James and Miranda Derrick, okay? The documentary was mostly about Miranda, but James plays a huge role. James runs 7M. So remember how I said they collabed with a lot of famous artists? Well, they also collabed with Twitch and his wife, Allison. Now, as we all know, Twitch's passing was kind of mysterious. But let's take a look at the date. It happened on December 13th, 2022. Now, one of the first collabs video he did with 7M was in January 28th of 2022. So a year later, he was gone. So interesting enough, to be associated with the Shekinah Church or its entities, you have to sign an agreement. So according to the testimonies of ex-members and the recordings of Robert Shin, the church encourages members to, end quote, die to themselves, end quote, and to their families. Now, what I'm wondering is, did Twitch sign that agreement? Now, again, let's look at the date. Twitch tragically passed away December 13th, 2022. Well, guess whose show was canceled 5 months later? Ellen DeGeneres on May 26, 2022. The fact that Twitch, his wife, Ellen, 7M were all so closely related and this all happened is just crazy to me. It also makes a lot of sense why Ellen's been hiding out and no one's heard a word from her until like her upcoming comedy tour all of a sudden.
Then there's the case of Anne Heche, Ellen's former girlfriend. Right before Anne's horrific car crash in 2022, she had reportedly been working on a documentary that promised to expose the truth about her time with Ellen. Anne had previously claimed that Ellen had her blackballed from Hollywood and even had her committed to a mental institution against her will. The timing of Anne's crash and the bizarre footage of her reportedly popping out of a body bag while being wheeled to an ambulance has led many to believe she was being silenced before she could speak her truth. Two people, both with deep ties to Ellen, both meeting tragic ends just as the walls were closing in on her reputation.
Anne Heche explained how she was silenced by Ellen DeGeneres. Right before Anne Heche passed away, after 20 years, she finally started exposing the truth about what happened between her and Ellen. In the early 2000s, on the same day that Ellen and Anne broke up, it was reported all over the news stations that Anne had a nervous breakdown and she was actually hospitalized. And finally, after 20 years, Anne Heche said in this interview that Ellen was trying to silence her and she was actually the one that put her into the mental institution. She also explained how Ellen had her blackballed from Hollywood and pretty much ruined her career. And a lot of people found it really suspicious that Anne Heche started talking about abuse and how when you catch wind of it, you basically have to separate yourself, and how basically that we've all been lied to for years. And Anne Heche actually did 2 interviews on Ellen, and each time they were getting deeper and deeper and she was revealing more and more information. And a lot of people thought that Anne Heche was actually getting ready to expose Ellen for being involved in and honestly, this doesn't surprise me because who Ellen surrounds herself with, but even Oprah was brought up in this interview with Anne Heche. They talked about how Oprah actually cut Anne Heche out of the 20th year anniversary celebration of Ellen coming out when Anne Heche was actually in here with Ellen because Anne Heche is the one that started Ellen's coming out journey. And a lot of people, even like me, have always said that Anne Heche's death just never made sense. The firefighters had her in a body bag and then she popped out of it. And then just a couple of days later, she was actually taken off life support. And a lot of people have always wondered if Ellen was somehow involved in this because they found it super weird that Anne Heche finally started talking after 20 years, exposing Ellen, and then something weird like this happened to her. But I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Anne Heche had to say about Ellen silencing her over the years, and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
There's one question people want to know: what do I think about Ellen? And in fact, I haven't said that yet. I have not rambled on about her for one single moment. For 20 years, I have withheld my understanding. I have been canceled since the day I was born. I've been buried since the day I was born. Every single truth that I spoke, I was hit more, buried more, more, or despised more, and then had calculated visions and circulations of systems that spun me up and out of the system that would in any way challenge the fact that she was not telling her own truth but another's. Why do you think she tried to put me in an institution, folks? I called my mother. Guess what? 2 people who wanted more than anything to have my truth buried. It was not my timing. I did not and could not ask God for what that would be.
The story of Ellen DeGeneres is a masterclass in the power of branding and the fragility of the nice guy persona. For decades, we were told to be kind, yet the trail of broken friendships, toxic work environments, and mysterious tragedies suggests a reality that was anything but. Was Ellen a victim of a coordinated takedown, or was the public finally seeing the strange creature that Rosie O'Donnell warned us about? As she sits in her estate across the Atlantic, far from the cameras that made her a household name, one has to wonder if she's finally found the peace she claimed to give others, or if she's just waiting for the next document leak to drop. One thing is for certain, the Queen of Nice is gone, and in her place is a mystery that Hollywood may never fully solve. What do you think is the real reason she left it all behind? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to keep your eyes open, because in Hollywood, the brightest lights usually hide the darkest shadows.